On October 5, 1941, President George Albert Smith tells a touching story of the great missionary work of the Tabernacle Choir.
Now this morning, we've listened to this marvelous Tabernacle Choir. I wonder if you realize what they're doing. I wonder if you know how many people appreciate this choir preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ in a way that none of the rest of us can preach it, because they have the facility of the great organ and the combination of their tuneful voices inspired with a desire to bless mankind. It's a wonderful thing. Hasn't been very long since I received a request from a man way up in Oregon, a Catholic. He said, I wish you'd have the Tabernacle Choir sing something on a certain day. And he said, I've got to go on the operating table to have my leg taken off, but I wish you'd have the Tabernacle Choir sing something. And he mentioned what it was. And so I telephoned down to the brethren and asked if it was possible, and they said, no, the program was already prepared, but to say to that good man that they'd sing something that would be helpful if he'd listen in. He was in the hospital, and just Saturday before they were to sing, I wrote him that they were going to sing, and that they'd sing something that he'd enjoy. So he asked the superintendent if he couldn't have the privilege of bringing a radio into his room, but they wouldn't allow radios in that room, in that hospital. And so he didn't like it very well. He asked the attendant first, and then he sent for the superintendent and finally convinced him that he was entitled to a radio. He was going to lose his leg. He was an ex-soldier. He was in a government hospital, and it wouldn't bother anybody else. And so he gave permission to have the radio go into that room, and then this man sent for his folks who lived 60 or 75 miles north, and they came down and sat around his bed. And when this great choir were singing, that man in his room was absorbing something, that the result of which was that the next morning, when the doctor came to take him into the operating room and examined him, he said, why, there's no necessity to take you into the operating room. Man, your leg's getting along all right. We'll not take it off. And this good Catholic wrote to me, and he says, I wonder if other people would think what I think. I wonder if they'd believe that I was healed by hearing the songs that the Lord loves to hear, songs of praise. And so I want to say to this Tabernacle Choir, that's only one of the many blessings that you could trace if we only had time to trace them.